Hello, this is Dr. New again. Today we are going to discuss Chapter 2, the Strategic Management Process. Now, strategic management process, before you analyze, before you formulate, before you implement a strategy, which is the AFI framework that you learned from Chapter 1, you have to have a clearly defined vision, mission, and the values, or AKA strategies. Okay? So first thing you have to do is that you have to know what you want to achieve in the very beginning. Ask yourself why you are enrolling in GM 105 Section 12 in spring 2017. What do you want to achieve? For most of you, you want to have a satisfactory grade in the end of the spring 2017 semester. So that is what you want to do, what you want to achieve. Then, based on that, what do you have to do? Those are the strategies. Okay? Well, for example, maybe you have to do something like studying the textbook. Maybe you have to do something like finishing the assignment. Maybe you have to do something like working in the groups or in the teams, etc., etc. Those are the things that you have to do in order to achieve your ultimate objective. So you have to begin with "and" in mind when you are involving in the strategic management process. First thing you have to understand is vision. A company's vision statement tells you what this company is going to ultimately achieve. Okay? In this case, let me use the Sac State College Business as the example. College Business intends to become the leading higher education institute in Greater Sacramento region. Okay, that is what we ultimately want to achieve. So does that mean that we are currently not a leading education institute in Sacramento region? Well, it's debatable. However, that also tells you that there might be some sort of environmental factors that prevent us, to become the educational leader. For example, the competitor. Well, are we competing with any other higher education institute in this region? Absolutely. Okay, we have UC Davis, and we have the University of Pacific. We even have Cal State Sonoma, okay, etc., etc. Okay, so vision tells you what my company ultimately want to achieve. Okay, you have to know that. Second, mission statement. What this company is about. What this company can do. Okay, now Sac State, what we can do in terms of a college business, we can offer quality education in a wide variety of different business subjects, such as marketing, such as finance, accounting, general management, entrepreneurship, human resources, etc., etc. Okay, this is what our college is about. You are part of the college business because in the end you want to get a degree in business. Okay, so that's why you select Sac State, because we can do that. We can help you achieve your objective. And the values, how are we going to achieve our objectives? Okay, every strategy has its own value. The reason why you have a strategy, the reason why you want to know how to accomplish certain things to achieve the optimal result in the end, it is because those things are important to you. Those things are valuable to you. Now ask yourself, is completing weekly assignment important to you for GM 105 Section 12 in spring semester 2017? If your answer is yes, then tell me or ask yourself why it is valuable. Because in the end, get a satisfactory grade is valuable. Then my question is, why it is still a valuable objective? Because by completing GM 105 in the end of the spring semester, a lot of you will be able to graduate. Now that is a very, very valuable objective that you are going to try your very best to accomplish. So values refers to how we are going to accomplish our objectives. Then the next slide. What is strategic intent? Now, strategic intent, that means a desired leadership position in the long term that will exceed your company's current position. Well, as I said before, Sac State's vision, we intend to become the leading higher education institute in Greater Sacramento region. Okay, so that means so far we are not the leading, okay, we are the major player in Greater Sacramento region, but comparing UC Davis and the Sac State, well, a lot of people will say, well, okay, UC Davis is more, let's say, prestigious, okay, comparing to Sac State. Okay, so we want to become a very prestigious, okay, university in greater or nationally well-known university in Greater Sacramento region. That is our desired leadership position in the higher education market. Okay, for example, some of the companies, they have a very straightforward strategic intent. In this case, Canon, okay, Canon, they want to beat Xerox. As you know, Canon and Xerox, they are both the major players in office, equipments, this particular industry. And Canon considers Xerox as the major competitor or its rival. So their objective is very simple. We are going to do everything to defeat my rival, in this case, which is Xerox. Okay. Also, you are going to use a concept called stretch goals in a very effective way, because you want to establish competitive advantage by formulating and executing certain type of a strategy. But you have to understand that your competitive advantage over your rivals that you have today can be very, very dynamic. Why? Think about this. You are winning today doesn't necessarily mean that you will still be winning tomorrow. So you have to have a dynamic mindset, okay, when you are managing a company, and you have to thoroughly understand that your external environment is changing over time. Why your external environment is changing over time? Well, think about this. I believe most of you start using cell phone when you are still very young. Maybe when you are in junior high or even high schools, that was like 6, 7, or 10 years ago. But ask yourself, are you still using exactly the same cell phone that you used before? Okay, for most of you, you were using, for example, Nokia, for example, Motorola, but are you still using them? No. Most of you are using Apple. Most of you are using Samsung right now. Why? Why you change? Because your environment changes. Because the entire competitive landscape in mobile communication industry changed. Okay, that's why you are going to follow the change. You are jumping on the bandwagon. Okay, it changes over time. Now, 20 years ago, the largest mobile device vendor is the company called Motorola, and 20 years ago, the second largest one is Nokia. Where are they right now? Okay, so 20 years ago, both Motorola and the Nokia, they have very, very strong competitive advantage. Okay, but today they don't have it. They don't have it. That's why they are faded in our history. Okay, or even not long ago, back in 2003, 4, and 5. Okay, the most popular mobile communication device is the product called BlackBerry. Where is BlackBerry right now? Okay, many of you have used BlackBerry before, but now you're not going to use BlackBerry because they're just simply not available in the market. Okay, they lose their competitive advantage. Okay, so you have to use stretch goals. That means you need to have a dynamic strategic thinking in order to know what you have to do in the long run in order to build and, more importantly, sustain your competitive advantage for a long term. Now that is the meaning of effective use of stretch goals. Then mission. There are a couple types of mission statement that you could use when you are trying to formulate a company's mission statement. First of all, you could have a customer-oriented mission. Okay, for example, Disney, their mission statement or what this company is about. Disney is about making people happy, not specific individuals, but make a general population, make everybody happy. Now think about this. If that is the company's mission, when you are watching, the cartoons made by Disney, such as Frozen, are you happy? Yes. When you are watching, Toy Story, are you happy? Yes. That's only one thing. That's only one of the things that Disney is doing. So other than making the animated films, okay, what else does Disney do? Well, they have Disneyland and Disney World. Now ask yourself, were you happy when you were in Disneyland or Disney World? Most people will say yes. Okay, so what else do they do? Well, they have the cruise line. Okay, they have the cruise vacation package. They also have the hotel and resorts. Okay, for example, in Hawaii. Now, when you are on the if you had experience when you are on the Disney cruise, are you happy? Yes, you are happy. Other than that, what else does Disney do? Well, they have the Disney store. If you don't think so, well, go to the Arden, go to the Galleria, you will find the Disney store. And when you walk in there, there's a whole bunch of Disney characters, the costumes or the figures or the toys. And when you have them, when you look at them, okay, you are happy. And most importantly, when the kids are happy, the parents will be happy as well. Okay, so Disney, they have a lot of things that they can do in order to make people happy. And well, the reason strategic change is that other than the Disney animated film studio or the other than the animated films, Disney is going to invest heavily, okay, in the superhero series, films. For example, well, you have the Iron Man. Now, Iron Man, Marvel studio that belongs to Disney. Okay, other than Iron Man, what do you have? Ask yourself. You have Captain America. You have Hulk, the Mighty Hulk. You have so many characters. The Black Widow, or the Falcon or whatever. Okay, there are so many characters. Now think about this, or even the Ant-Man. Okay, now each character is about, if they have their own movie, gee, that's a lot of movies. And believe me, in today's movie industry, film industry, if you have the superhero movie, that's going to give you a strong revenue. Okay, so that is a type of a customer-oriented missions that Disney is using. The other type of the mission statement is a product-oriented. Now that is very, very specific. Okay, in terms of what your company can do in terms of what type of service that your company can deliver to the customers. Now, in this case, the U.S. railroads, okay, we are going to become the safest and the most efficient American railroad, company, okay. So that is very specific. Now, as you can see, the major difference between customer-oriented and product. And the product-oriented mission is that customer-oriented will not limit the company's potential actions. Okay, well, the Disney, they use customer-oriented, type of a mission, and Disney can be involved in movie industry, can be involved in the theme park, can sell you the merchandise, and can be involved in the vacation pack, can have the vacation package or the cruise lines or the hotels. There are quite a bunch of different things that you can do. So Disney can have a very, very strong strategic flexibility. But the U.S. railroad, okay, the only thing that they do is railroad. Okay, so that's a very narrow, very limited option, okay, for U.S. railroad if you choose to use the product-oriented mission. Okay. Now, mission statement and competitive advantage. First of all, mission statement help your company build and sustain competitive advantage because the results, they are not inclusive. And you need to have a very strong strategic commitment in order to be successful. You have to be very, very determined. You have to be determined and actually put your thought into action in order to make things happen. Okay, because without doing it, without formulating the strategy, without implementing the strategy, without having a clearly defined mission and vision statement, you don't know where your company is going. You don't know where your company should be going. You don't know what type of actions or strategies or things or functions that your company need to have. Okay, so your results, okay, they're not guaranteed. They are not inclusive. You need to have the commitment, a strong-minded leader, okay, to persuade every single organizational unit, meaning individual, to put their very best in helping the company achieve their competitive objective in the end. Now, to make it happen, that means the most, okay? Also, the positive associations and the negative associations, okay? Well, you can ignore that, okay? That's not very important. Then, leaving the values. Understanding what you want to achieve, understanding what you want to do, okay? You have to know the importance of your strategy. You have to know the importance of your objective in the end, and everything that you are going to do will be guided by those values, okay? Because how are we going to accomplish our objective? Once you have the importance, okay, once you have a objective that has a high value, that is valuable, that is important to you, then it's going to guide your behavior. For example, well, getting a good grade in the end of spring semester 2017 in the class GM 105, if that's important, then you are going to follow, for example, Dr. New's guideline. You are going to complete all the strategic management assignments. You are going to buy and read the required textbook. Okay, so it is all because the end result is important to you. It is valuable to you. That's why the value, the importance is going to guide your behavior. And then you are going to do all those things. You are going to execute your strategy. So in the end, you can accomplish your objective. Okay. Strategic management process. Okay, there are 3 different types of strategic management process. You could have strategic planning, you could have scenario planning, and planned emergence. Okay, strategic planning is a very, very traditional top-down rational planning. For example, the top management, they are going to be responsible for creating and defining the company's mission, vision, and strategy. Okay. And then the middle management, depending on your company's specific functions such as marketing, manufacturing, human resource, or the accounting, department, based on each department's specialty, they're going to perform the external analysis of opportunities and threats. Okay. Internal analysis, they are going to do that as well, because internal analysis tells you what your company has, what your company can do, okay, at this moment. So it's going to tell you what my company's current strength and weakness. Now the current is very important, okay, because your strength will evolve. Your strength will go up or go down, will increase or decrease over time. That really depend on what your company intend to achieve. Okay, so internal analysis, it's going to tell you your company. It's going to tell you your company's current strength and weakness. Then you are going to go through the SWOT analysis and formulate strategy and then implement strategy and re-evaluate your strategic management process and modify it if necessary. That's the very traditional rational planning. So it's a top-down process, okay? Because the top management team, they are the thinkers. The bottom line employees or the frontline employees, they are the doers. Strategy can be a scenario planning. Now, the scenario planning simply means that your company is going to create multiple options to stay flexible, okay? When you are investing in the stock market, okay, let's say you have $10,000, okay, or even $100,000, okay, are you going to put all your money in the single company, or you're going to put, for example, $10,000 in the company called Apple, and $20,000 in the company called Amazon, and the $10,000 in the company called Google or Alphabet, okay, and then you want to diversify, okay, because you are afraid of the uncertainties. Now, uncertainties, how can we offset the environmental uncertainties? Okay, by asking what if questions. Okay, what if Amazon is not doing so good? Okay, how are we going to respond? What if Google is not doing so good? What are we going to do in order to respond to this, contingency? Okay, so scenario planning is basically the contingency plan. Okay, and you are going to ask whole bunch what if questions in order to give you the options. Okay, then among all those scenarios, you are going to choose a dominant plan, because the dominant plan is the one that you are going to implement and execute. Okay, so what if we have a political disturbance? Okay, for example, a lot of political developments such as the immigrant ban, or the Mexican-American border, the war. Okay, that creates a lot of political disturbance. Do you believe that those political disturbance will eventually affect our economy? I believe so. Now, what if it actually happens? Okay, what are you going to do? Okay, so you need to have the options in hand. You need to have the backup plan in your mind in order to respond, in order to react to all those environmental contingencies. Do you know Donald Trump? What is he going to do in the what is it going to do next? Do you have any idea? You don't know. Okay, but once you have all the options in hand by using from your use of scenario planning, then whatever he does, okay, it won't catch you unguarded. Okay, that's the importance of having a lot of multiple options in hand by the use of the scenario planning. Now, planned emergence. Okay, planned emergence. Something you just didn't expect in the very beginning. Okay, and all those unexpected events, they are not necessarily negative. They are not necessarily gonna hurt your company's overall strategy or strategic implementation. Why? Well, let me give you an example. In Japan, transportation is dominated by a single company called Japan Railway. Okay, if you've been to Japan, you know their public transit system, okay, is very, very advanced, and the population, there's a huge population using the everyday public transit to go to work, to go home, to go shopping. Okay, so Japan Railway, the company dominates the Japanese public transit infrastructure. Now, Japan consists of 4 major islands, and all those islands are volcano islands. Okay, so the island have a lot of volcano mountains. Okay, in order to lay down the railway tracks, they have to have a carefully detailed plan to drill through all those mountains, to make a tunnel, okay, things like that. And one day, one incident occurred way back, okay, when they used all those heavy equipment and drill through the mountain. Suddenly the tunnel collapsed, and thankfully, not too many people are injured, so that's a good thing. And once the tunnel collapsed, okay, the entire tunnel was flooded, okay, by the mountain snow. Okay, now Japan Railway sent the investigation team into the tunnel and investigate what's the structural weakness that they didn't think of. Well, okay, so they spent some time doing the inspection and the investigation, and then they found out the reason. But also the another thing that they found out is the quality of the water that they sampled from the flooded tunnel is very, very pure. Okay, so this unexpected events, okay, give them the idea, which is, how about we collect the mountain snowpack water and put them into bottle and sell them as the bottled water on the Japan railway trains and the public transits. Okay, and it was a huge success. Okay, so not necessarily every uncertain events, unexpected events is negative to your company strategy. That really depend on what you can do and whether you are able to turn everything all around and turn it into your competitive advantage. Okay, now the bottom-up strategic initiatives. Okay, for example, Microsoft, Intel, Starbucks, and Google. Now, the bottom-up in strategic initiatives, that means you are going to empower your employees and allow them to have the decision-making capability. For example, the Starbucks. Okay, if you are from Asia, you know Starbucks, they sell teas, and you know some of the Starbucks, they even sell bubble teas. Okay, well, bubble tea is that's popular in China, in the Southeast Asia, in Japan, and also Korea. Okay, but you cannot buy bubble tea from Starbucks in the North America, Starbucks, store locations. Okay, so by empowering the employees to make quick decision, that will give your company, overall company, a very fast reaction, okay, or the fast responding capability to the environmental demand. Okay, so I will post the assignment on Sac City on Wednesday, so please stay tuned, and once you open up the file, please start working on it. Okay, so if you have questions, don't hesitate to contact me and let me know. Okay, thank you.